But we begin with those bone-chilling temperatures in many parts of the country, causing potentially life-threatening conditions. Here's a look at the current extreme cold warnings from Environment Canada. The polar vortex that arrived this past week continues to blanket much of BC and all of Alberta and Saskatchewan, plunging some temperatures in Western Canada into the -40s Celsius. These frigid temperatures have also triggered an emergency alert and are affecting the services people rely on. Linda Ward is tracking this story for us, and she joins us now. So, Linda, tell us about this alert that was sent out to Albertans.
Yeah, this alert is really the latest in a series of effects that this cold snap has had on essential services that people rely on across the West Coast. But we'll tell you about this that went out to the phones across the province. This warning of high-risk rotating power outages, asking Albertans to limit their power use to only essential needs during the peak hours of 4 and 7 p.m. Alberta's electric systems operator issuing a similar grid alert on Friday, saying cold temperatures are putting too much stress on the grid. It's causing higher usage, but also lower imports because Alberta gets some of its power from neighboring provinces. But BC and Saskatchewan also gripped by this cold snap. They're seeing increased demand there as well, too. But they say this alert worked, and within minutes of putting it out, they saw power demand drop very, very significantly, and they were able to lift that grid alert by about 8:40 p.m. local time. Meanwhile, in Siksika First Nation, now that's east of Calgary, they are under a state of local emergency. Dozens of homes there losing power. They were left without heat. The nation opened up a Deerfoot Sportsplex and Chief Crowfoot School. They're putting out cots in the gym. They're giving out supplies to anyone who needs it, and putting families with elders and children. They're being put up in hotel spaces. So some of those homes, we're told, have now restored power, but the state of local emergency has not been lifted. The chief wanting to keep these precautions in place because today temperatures there are expected to hit -50. So if the furnaces go out again, he says at least there's going to be a place for people to go. The state of emergency, Hillary, will be in place until at least tomorrow.
Wow, okay, -50. That is cold, and certainly some really tangible effects in terms of how this is disrupting people's lives. And we also know, Linda, that it's causing some chaos at hospitals in BC. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The emergency department at Mission Memorial Hospital is right now on emergency diversion. Now, they had a pipe burst in their emergency room. Fraser Health has been sending emergency patients to other hospitals nearby until further notice. They're listed there on that website. The rest of the hospital, though, remains fully operational. Yesterday, Kamloops Royal Inland Hospital, they had a heat failure there. Temperatures in the air dropping to -6. The hospital says patients had to be moved. Take a listen.
We never, when it's, this cold out, many people are coming to emerge and, needing care, and the last thing we want is for them to be really cold in that area and also very uncomfortable. So we were able to move patients to another area that was warmer and did some work about putting some more blockades so that cold air won't be coming in, and I've been working on the heater, and the facility maintenance team did a great job of getting things fixed up throughout the day, and I can report that the temperatures are now up into the higher teens, 17, 18 degrees in that area.
Getting back to business as usual there, but they do say, if you do have emergency need, don't delay. Even with all of these disruptions, do head to your nearest emergency room.
Okay, Linda, thank you for this. The CBC's Linda Ward for us. Well, the mayor of Edmonton says his city is at a breaking point. He wants to declare a housing and homelessness emergency. And Mayor Amarjeet Sohi joins us now to speak more about this. So, Mayor Sohi, thank you so much for taking some time to speak with us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
So as we were just hearing there from Linda, from my colleague, of course, people in Alberta, including in your city in Edmonton, really dealing with some freezing temperatures right now. What is the city doing to try to make sure that everyone can protect themselves from this extreme cold?
Well, first of all, I just want to stress the point that Edmonton is a winter city, but this is extreme cold. We are reaching close to 50 minus 55 and colder temperatures with wind chill. And so city has activated our extreme weather response to keep vulnerable Edmontonians safe during the cold weather expected over the coming days. So what we do whenever we reach below 20 degrees Celsius, we activate our extreme weather response. That kicks a number of things. One of them is opening up additional shelters. We are very appreciative of our local mosque, Al-Rashid Mosque, that is in the north side of the city, and they have 50 additional spaces that are meant to supplement the existing shelter capacity that we have in the city. So we're very appreciative of the community response in these kind of situations. We also open our city facilities like rec centers and libraries that are open for people to come in, warm up, and use the facilities and respite and in this extreme cold weather. We also have during this winter, actually, this is something new that we started. We have 2 regular city buses running from November 1st to end of March, and they run from 11 p.m. till 5 a.m. in the morning, providing transportation to vulnerable populations, connecting them to shelters or other facilities that are open at that time. And we are adding another bus, the 3rd bus running at the same time, making sure that no one is left out in the cold.
Okay. So lots being done right now around the city then. We also know that you are planning to declare a housing and homelessness emergency at a special meeting tomorrow, which has been an ongoing issue in the city, in Edmonton, for quite some time now. Why do you think the city has reached this breaking point now?
Over the last number of years, particularly during COVID and after COVID, we have seen the number of houseless population significantly increased, and we are seeing a number of them dying. Unfortunately, late last year, we have social agencies come to city council and memorialize close to more than 100 Edmontonians that died because they have no place to call home. So we have a crisis.
I do want to ask you something that we heard just this past Friday from Alberta's Minister of Seniors, Community and Social Services Minister, and he called this declaration a political stunt. So we're wondering, why do you think it is necessary? What do you think in terms of tangible solutions? What are those tangible solutions that you think might actually come out of this declaration?
There are tangible solutions. Prior to COVID, the houseless population in Edmonton and Alberta significantly declined. But during COVID, we have increased population, and the social structure, the social system that is built to deal with those situations is not properly funded. We don't have enough supportive housing units. We don't have enough wraparound services. We have shelter capacity, but shelter capacity is also not utilized by a lot of houseless population because of various barriers that they face to access shelter capacity, right? So there are a number of issues that we have, and we have everyday Edmontonians dying. And we last a week, police announced that 2 people burned themselves through fire risk because of they were living in an encampment. So this is a crisis that we're facing, and we take it very seriously. And my hope is that that both provincial and federal government will step up as they have started doing so, which I absolutely appreciate and acknowledge. But more needs to be done in order to save lives.
I do want to talk a little bit more about those encampments, because there have been 8 encampments, that have been deemed high risk and were torn down in the city recently. Since then, the CBC spoke with advocates who say that a lot of the people who were displaced, they simply moved to a different block. So I want to play a little bit of what we heard a little bit earlier today from one of them.
I was downtown on the Wednesday of January 3rd. And helped a guy take his tent apart. And he had it beautifully set up. He had 2 cots for him and his partner, a little bed for his dog, Billy Bob. And the trucks were coming down the street, and we could see them coming. the pressure was on to clear up his stuff and move it. And where did he go? He moved a block away, a block east.
So Mayor Sohi, if tearing down encampments isn't getting people into safer housing, what do you think the solution is?
You know, I agree. The encampments are the symptom of a bigger problem. Bigger problem is that we don't have enough supportive housing and wraparound services. I've been calling for that ever since I got elected, which are federal and provincial responsibilities. And we are always in a reactive mode. And that's what you see. People do move from one place to the other when their encampments are dismantled. In some cases, we have to dismantle those encampments because they pose very serious health and safety hazard to the occupants and to the community. But the real challenge is that we don't have enough spaces for people to go to. We don't have permanent places for people to live in. That's why I am calling this an emergency. It is an emergency. We have people dying every day, and we take it seriously, and everyone needs to start taking it seriously.
Okay. Mayor Sohi, we appreciate your time on a Sunday. Thank you for this.
Thank you so much for having me.